Welcome everybody. My name is Viknia Saldova and I'm a career consultant at careerservice.eu. Here are the 7 most common mistakes I see when editing people's CVs and resumes. Number 1, including personal information. Nowadays, you don't really need to include a photo unless specifically asked so, or your marital status, your age, your gender, your full address. Town or city is completely enough. In fact, it's illegal to hire on the basis of those nowadays, so instead of wasting your space on your CV, you should be putting up the experience straight on the top. And not only that, not only taking the valuable space away from the things that you should be highlighting on your CV, you're also appearing like you're not, catching up with the times. It seems that you don't know. And no employer wants someone who's stuck in 2002. Number 2. Gaps in employment history. Now, when you have a period on your CV, let's say between 2011 and 2013, where nothing's been put down for those years, it looks very strange. It immediately is going to raise some red flags for the employer or the HR manager. And I'm sure you were doing something useful in those years. Either it was caring for a family, starting one, perhaps starting a business or education. Make sure that's reflected somewhere. So be it under other skills, be it under education, or just be it in the main employment section as a line, career break for family reasons. And I can promise you, anything you put down for those dates in the CV is better than putting nothing at all. And if you think the employer is not going to notice, they will. Number 3, failure to tailor your CV or your resume for the job that you're applying for. Now this is a big one. A lot of people just copy-paste from their CV into applications, or they just send the same CV to all the companies they can find. What you should be doing when you find a job you're interested in is read the job description and see, how can I highlight my experience to match what they're looking for? A CV is just 1 or 2 pages long, and I'm sure you are not able to include all the tasks you were doing and all the achievements you accomplished in those couple paragraphs that you get under each job description. So try and look at the job description you're applying for and match that if you can. Do not make things up. And if you can, try and match that in your CV in your own way of how you reflected those job responsibilities that they're looking for in your previous positions. Now that will greatly help you because first, a lot of the employers use a special technology that searches for keywords when you send your files to the HR manager. And second of all, it will immediately catch their attention when they're scanning your CV. So try and really be as tailored as you can so that they really see you as a perfect candidate. For example, if you were in journalism for the last 10 years and now are applying for a PR job, you might want to put back in your CV that marketing job that you removed ages ago because it wasn't really applicable, but now it suddenly is. So see how you can maybe bring even old experience back into your CV and enrich it that way. Always keep thinking, how can I make my CV more relevant for this employer? Why should they hire me? Number 4, writing too much text or just CV being too long. Now, this is one of those cases where less is more. And let's be honest, if you did not convince the employer in the first page or 2, another 2 pages are unlikely going to make a difference. Try and keep it under 2 pages. If you can fit everything in 1 page, wonderful. But if you have a lot of international skills and specific technical skills that you want to highlight in your second page, go ahead and do that. But do not exceed 2 pages because that will start to look a little bit too long. An employer, or an HR manager rather, they spend on average 7 seconds reading your CV. So make sure that everything is nice and neatly organized. A CV is a summary of your work. So how would you treat a summary? Bullet points, numbers, maybe some nice formatting to make it more accessible so that information is visible, some bolding, some italics. Maybe don't mix too much together, but you get the idea. Try and make it visually appealing and not just a bunch of text put together like a novel. Your CV is not a novel. Instead, it should have some achievements, some percentages, some numbers, and the most basic key facts. Number 5, unprofessional. Now, you should not really be including a picture unless specifically asked to. Also, make sure that if you are asked for a picture, it's not a silly one. Don't use your email address from 15 years ago when you were a teenager. Or don't link it to a social media profile where you have holiday pictures in bikinis and you drinking with your friends. Now, if you are applying to be a promoter of a beach club, maybe this will get you far. But if you're applying to, let's say, be a digital producer and you thought, it would be great to show that I've got a good Instagram profile, perhaps link it, but make it closed, so don't accept them. Make them see that you have 52,000 followers. However, don't let them see your content because it's not immediately relevant to the job. Instead, build up your Twitter account and link it to that, or your LinkedIn, or the website that you've managed. I'm sure there's other things you can highlight to show the same skills, but in a more professional way. And what you also might want to do is, well, I know all of us have done this, Google yourself, but don't just stop there. Try and go to some of those sites where you see, ooh, oh my gosh, I look terrible in this picture from a club, from uni years. If you reach out to most websites, they'll be happy to take it down, or you just wait a bit of time and try and hide it in some other content. So get rid of those bad searches. You want to appear as professional as possible. Number 6, being too ambiguous or lack of specifics. This is a big mistake I see a lot of people do. They're just being way too generic. Instead of saying managed employees or manage social media channels, what you should be doing is saying stuff like managed 20 employees in a $2 billion turnover company, or managed a social media channel with 3 million followers. Or even better, focus on your achievements. Improved engagement rate on social media channels by XX amount. So try and be as specific as you can. An employer will really appreciate that, and they will see, if he can have those achievements there, wow, he could be bringing something similar here, and that's what we want. Now, last but not least, number 7, abbreviations and jargon. Oof. Now, this is a big problem where I work, in international organizations. You might not know this, but actually a lot of companies include outside observers from other departments, and as well as HR managers who will be looking at your CV alongside of your direct manager. And while your direct manager might know what a certain abbreviation means, those people might not. And you might lose them that way. So try and make the language as accessible as possible. Try and use abbreviations as little as possible. And if you really, really can't avoid them, use some very well-known ones. Or if you must name some software, some specifics, go ahead and do that. But make sure you always link it back and explain how that's relevant to the position, so that even people who are not directly involved in this field, but are still having an equal voice in that hiring process, so that even they understand what you're talking about and how that skill benefits the company and benefits the position that you're applying for. So try and minimize the jargon. I have seen so many CVs putting abbreviation after an abbreviation, department names, abbreviated. How can I know what the abbreviation of your internal department stands for? And what does that tell me? That doesn't tell me anything as an employer or an HR hiring manager. Just get rid of the abbreviations altogether if you can. That also shows that you can communicate with different sorts of people and get your message across to even non-experts. Well, that is all. Thank you for watching, and subscribe to my channel, because even though this is my first YouTube video, I'm sure I'll be making many, many more. But if you need more tailored career advice, go to careerservice.eu and get in touch with me so I can help you check your CVs, prep you for job interviews, and give you more career advice in a more tailored way. Thank you very much.